culture has trained us to believe that deserts are sandy, dry, and dead. But a desert is any area of land with less than 10 inches of rainfall annually. So, while deserts can look like this, they can also look like this. They can be classified into 4 kinds of deserts: hot and dry, semi-arid, coastal, and cold. Deserts take up a large part of our Earth. Typically, deserts are not near a body of water. Bodies of water act as climate regulators because of their high heat capacity, but without this, the desert land can experience extreme heat changes between day and night. This intense climate can put strain on the rocks, causing them to break into pieces. As wind-blown sand grains scrape the surface of these rocks, they erode into uniform deposits and pile high into sand dunes. As a result, soil quality is low and very little can survive in most deserts. Plants face many problems when trying to grow in a desert, including how to obtain enough water, how to avoid being eaten by scavenging animals, and how to reproduce. Photosynthesis is necessary but complicated in the desert. Plants cannot open their stomata to receive carbon dioxide during the day without risking extreme water loss due to the hot temperatures. They have adapted to do this at night instead. Grasses and low shrubs are the dominant vegetation here. Animal life can be tough in the desert. Not only do they require food and water, but they also need to keep their body temperature at a tolerable level. Mammals, like the kangaroo rat, escape the heat of day underground and conserve water with a low basal metabolic rate. Moisture travels through the food chain, and most animals receive their daily water from their meal. Reptiles have adapted very well to dry deserts as they are ectotherms, which means they are dependent on outside sources of heat to keep their body temperature warm. Along with foxes and jackals, they tend to feed on small rodents. Birds have also adapted to the desert, especially in polar regions. The emperor penguin, for example, has dense plumage, a downy underlayer, an air insulation layer next to the skin, and various thermoregulatory strategies to help maintain its body temperature in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The most fascinating role of resources in the desert is water. For example, in the Atacama Desert, the Andes Mountains and the Chilean coast block water from coming in. This is the case with many other deserts, where water is scarce from natural sources. Life in the desert is forced to draw instead on underground water in springs and aquifers. If these lie close to the surface, wells can be dug and life can flourish. However, this does not last long as the water will most likely evaporate in the heat. As we saw earlier, however, plants and animals have adapted to conserve water and acquire it from their prey. Occasionally, there is a break from the scarcity of water in the desert. When rain falls in the desert, it does so with great violence. These are called flash floods. Some plants wait for periods like this to reproduce, and these are essential to the ecosystem. Some of these floods result in lakes that, when dried up, leave behind deposited clay and silt known as playas. The smooth surfaces have been used to attempt vehicle speed breaking records. For example, the United States Air Force uses Rogers Dry Lake in the Mojave Desert as runways for aircraft and the space shuttle. Deserts can be extreme and intimidating, but are a unique part of the Earth's biosphere.